Hello and hi. Welcome back. I have a new marker here, or a new marker set, I should say here. These are the Nini Pie Markers. I've been seeing them going around on YouTube and Instagram, and I really just wanted to try them out with you today here. So I bought a pack of 6 of them off of Amazon. It looks like they're mostly pastel colors, so this will definitely be something super different from me as I'm not used to using pastel colors. But let's go ahead and get these open here and take a look at them. I'm really excited to see what these are exactly. So you can see the name here. It says Nini Pie right on the top. Most of the printing is in Japanese, I want to say, or Chinese. Sorry, I don't really know the difference. But they did come individually wrapped. Again, these are pastel colors. You see the purple, yellow, pink. This pastel mint blue here is one of my favorite blues ever. And then they have a light sky blue. Oh man, that's super blurry. I am so sorry. So I filmed this before I got my new camera set up, and so I'm just going through the old footage, but I promise newer videos will be a lot better quality. But you can see here it has 2 tips on them, and at the back of it shows the different colors for each tip, and one of the markers actually had 2 completely different colors. It had the mint green and then like a pink pen, so it's completely different. It kind of reminded me of a watermelon, so I actually drew a watermelon with it over here because I thought it was just super cute, and summer's coming and I'm really excited for summer. But yeah, I'm just swatching them over here on the side, trying to get used to them, figure out how exactly they work. I did find it really hard to draw with the thinner tips because I kept pressing forward and using the fat tip at the same time, so it was kind of difficult. But here I'm just sketching out my plans. The pastel colors really reminded me of cotton candy, and so I wanted something that had a theme, kind of a cotton candy theme. So I'm just sketching out some ideas over here. I love to draw witches, so I thought it would be really fun to do a cotton candy witch. So I just tried out drawing a couple of different styles here. I have my chibi style that I like to lay out designs with, and then I tried a semi chibi. It's kind of more like a Disney-esque cartoon character where she has the larger head but it's still the smaller body. And then I'm just drawing that out as a general idea of what I wanted her to look like. And since it was themed after cotton candy, I really liked the idea of having a tutu and big, voluminous, wavy hair because it just kind of fits the theme of cotton candy. To me, it had like the same shape. And then I was thinking about what to do with her top. I went through a variety of different options, like a strapless to match the tutu design, or a top that had more of the ruffles so it looked more fun and playful and went along with those pastel colors a little bit better. And then I tried a side view here as well to help me get a better understanding of the character's design, and it also gives me a few more options to play with so I can try something different. And when I start doing the color swatches, it gives me 3 different people or 3 different drawings that I can test out my colors with. So I'm just drawing that in here and trying to get a better idea of what it is exactly that I want to do. And while I was doing this, I was kind of thinking about how I wanted her to be positioned as well. If I wanted it just to be a pose, or if I actually wanted her to be involved with mixing potions or casting a spell. So this whole process just helps me figure out exactly what I want to do with the character and exactly who the character is going to be. Because once I decide who she's going to be and what she's going to do, then it makes it a lot easier to fill in the rest. So I was finally started putting in the color here. I did test the outside of the paper. These do not bleed through, and I think it's because they're more of a water-based marker. Some of the colors kind of remind me of highlighters, and the pens just remind me of like felt fine tip pens. So they definitely don't bleed through the page. I did started laying out some colors here, trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to color her, what color I wanted her hair to be, what color I wanted her eyes and dress to be. and exactly how I wanted it to look. And here you can see that I decided to pull up my phone and I started looking at pictures of cotton candy to see exactly what they looked like, to make sure I was remembering them correctly. Sometimes you remember things a little bit differently than what they actually are in real life. And I decided to go ahead and draw out a cotton candy using the colors and the markers, and this helped me figure out her layout and how I wanted her to look, and it actually gave me a lot of ideas for her costume as well, because I was able to color this and make it look more, or have a reference photo so it looked more like cotton candy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I just saw this one that had blues and purples in it and pinks at the top, and I really loved the color scheme, and so that's what I went through here. It was kind of hard to color with these because they are like a highlighter material, and so it was kind of like coloring with highlighters, and those don't blend together very well. So it was a little bit hard, but I did still enjoy the colors that came out of it. I really love the pastel colors, especially since it's something that I don't use a whole lot. And they definitely don't blend together. So if you try blending them together, it's not going to work. They react like highlighters. When I say that, it's the best comparison I can give with these markers. Okay, so it's really hard to see this red pencil with this camera angle, so I apologize, but I just drew out a little layout for my paper. So I drew the square and then my character inside to decide what pose I wanted her to be in, and I definitely wanted to stick with the witch theme because I just really love the idea of the cotton candy witch, and I will definitely be redoing her digital or with different markers because I really like the idea and I really like the concept. I was just having a hard time playing it out with these nippy pin or Nini Pie pins. I keep calling them nippy pins. These Nini Pie pin markers, just because they were a little bit hard to work with. They're great for note taking, I bet. You can write with one side and highlight with the other, but from an artist point of view, they were a little bit difficult to use. But yeah, I'm just mapping out how I wanted her to look. I have her off to the side, and you can kind of see a little cauldron there at the bottom. I thought it would be a lot of fun to have her stirring up some cotton candy in her cauldron and to play off more of the theme that I'm going with. And then I put a little moon in the corner. I wasn't really sure what to do with that space because it seemed kind of empty because she had the cauldron at the bottom and then her body was taking up most of the left hand side. But then I decided to go back to my original designs here and tried out different color schemes to see exactly what I wanted to have everything colored, inspired by the cotton candy that I drew down here. And I tried different options with the tutu dress. See, I tried blending it again here, and it kind of blends, but not as well as like Copics would. And then I tried a whole ballet line here. I put ballet shoes on her and everything, and I really like the idea of the pink eyes. Something about it was very, very sweet, and that mixed in really well with the cotton candy theme. Here I am just playing with those colors some more here, trying to figure out exactly what it is that I'm doing. I was going back and forth between this mint colored hair and pink hair because I really liked both options, but I didn't want her to have pink eyes and pink hair, so I think I was stuck with the mint. But I was ready to start my illustration, and I started that over here on the left hand side of my sketchbook. Sorry about the upside down angle. I tried to flip it around and it just looked really, really weird because of the angle it was filmed at, but we're working on it. It's a work in progress. But I started to draw out the thumbnail that I had down at the bottom a little bit bigger, and figuring out her placement and deciding on what her outfit is going to look like last minute, or any last minute changes to the outfit. And then I start measuring out her body. I have this issue where I make the heads really big, and so I kind of use the head size to measure out the shoulders and hips to get a good idea of what size she should be. I don't know, it's like that brat doll syndrome where you just draw their heads really, really big and then you draw their bodies super small. Thank you, Disney, for teaching me that one. But anyways, I just started drawing in some more details here, making sure that I have her proportions correct. And then I placed the cauldron, or started drawing out the cauldron and figuring it out. Man, this red is really hard to see. I'm sorry, guys. Red pencil is my favorite because it doesn't blend as much with markers, but it doesn't show up very well on the camera. So I will definitely have to remember that for next time. But I'm just drawing out the details here, making everything look pretty and wonderful, and figuring out where I wanted her hands to go, since I wanted it to be stirring up the cotton candy. I actually did look up a couple of pictures of people making cotton candy and stirring it, so I could see exactly what that would look like and what her hand placement should be and how they hold the cotton candy tube in the magic machine that makes cotton candy. Man, how many times have I said the word cotton candy? Kind of skipped a little bit ahead here because I was playing with the little details a lot. I like to make sure that my base is really perfected and ready to go and doesn't have a whole lot of errors to it, because it makes it a lot easier to add in those details like her outfit and the colors, so that I don't have to change it later. But here I am just adding in her outfit. I decided that I really liked the deep V-neck, and it kind of crosses over like a wrap dress style. And so I'm just putting that in here, and then her skirt is going to be a tutu, just like the blue one. And then I'm pretty sure I did the blue dress exactly with the fluffy sleeves and everything. But here I am just drawing in her tutu, which took me a couple of tries because I wasn't really sure what length I wanted it to be at. And then I have her other hand here just kind of tossing in some ingredients. And overall, I really liked the idea. I like the pose that she was in, and I'm definitely going to have to redo this digitally. But it was a really good experiment for these markers, and I like her design, especially since her hair has all the waves and everything, and it just adds to that cotton candy fluff. It's kind of what the hair is mimicking. And I also really loved the colors of these markers. I was a little bit disappointed that they acted more like highlighters, so they would be perfect again for note taking, but for art they were a little bit hard. Maybe if you use them for a base and put some colored pencils on top of it, that might work a little bit better, but it was just hard to work with purely only these markers. And yeah, that was hard because I was hoping with the double tip it would give me more variety, but it actually ended up being very limiting. So I finished up the sketch and I started applying the color. This is where I really started to fill the limitations with these markers, and it was actually really hard to color with them without accidentally marking with the thinner tip. But I just kind of tried to keep with the flow of the hair because they are super streaky, to avoid any of the cross hatching or a messy back and forth kind of a look. So I just colored it in with the flow of the hair. And then I liked the mint green, especially with the pink eyes. They're just something about the mint green and the pink really go really well together. And that's what I decided to do here. It was a good contrast. Again, it kind of reminds me of watermelon still. Maybe I'll have to do a watermelon girl with them sometime. So the middle one was pretty much what I was going for, minus the pink hair. I changed it to this mint color. And so I ended up doing the pink eyes, and then I drew in a little like a watermelon moon, just because I couldn't get over the mint and the pink. Just for some reason it was really reminding me of watermelon, and I absolutely loved the colors together. And then I decided to go in for something a little bit deeper for her hat, so I did this purple so that I could make it a little bit darker, giving her more of that witchy vibe, because I didn't want to stray away from the witchiness too much by going all pastel, and the purple was a good counterbalance in between that. And then I was able to bring that down into her dress because I liked the idea of the hat matching the dress. It gave the picture more more unity versus everything being a bunch of different colors. I didn't want it to look chaotic, and so I ended up changing the color of the dress from the blue to the purple. And then again, I'm just following the direction of the garment because I didn't want the streaky lines looking really, really messy. So I tried to make it go in the same way. Here I started coloring in the cauldron with this gray, again trying to keep with the direction of the object to avoid any messy cross-hatching or streaking that could distract from the image. In hindsight, I probably could have gotten away with cross-hatching on some areas of the cauldron. It was a little bit tedious to go back and forth, but I think overall it looks okay. And you can really see right here how streaky these markers are. They're probably perfect for note-taking or little doodles, but just for such a big illustration, they were a little bit hard to work with. Yeah, you can definitely see the streaking in there. So I came in with a few other colors. I decided to put the blue for her sashes, and then I used the blue for the cotton candy cone. I guess, yeah, it's a cotton candy cone. And then here I tried to use the pink as a light, or, yeah, I'm not sure how to describe it, but you know where the light hits on an object and the object kind of takes on the color. So sometimes it shows like yellow if you have a yellow light and green if you have a green light. I tried to do that with the pink here because the moon is a watermelon moon, and so it would be pink light in my mind. And so I tried to use the light pink to mimic that color. It kind of worked. I think that it's represented if you know about light, but if you're someone who's not very familiar with artwork, I'm not sure that it would transfer as well. But yeah, and then I am just filling in the cotton candy, making sure all the swirlies are in here, and then I use the pink for her lips as well. I really feel like I should have done more of a combination with the broad tip and the thin tip, but you know, you live and you learn. And another issue that I had, as you can see here, I am filling my paper, is these markers were so dry, like highlighters are, that it was starting to tear up my paper. And the more times that I went over it, the more torn up my paper started looking. And so I started becoming a little bit frustrated because I really wanted to blend these together and have this really cool illustration, but I was feeling very limited by these markers. About here is when I give up on the Nini Pie markers and I grab my favorite Copics and I start trying to blend it in and coloring in her skin just to resurrect the picture a little bit. I am trying really hard to save it here. But I found out very, very quickly that you just can't layer over these markers. Once they're there, and they don't budge, they don't move, you can't blend with them, you can't draw over them. And the more times that you go over the marker, it starts tearing up your paper because they're already so dry that the paper is already rough and torn up by the time you get this first layer of color down. And so you can see here I try again to go over some of the details. And if you do the Copic markers and then do the Nini Pies on top, it kind of works. But again, it just tore up my paper a lot. Like it was really frustrating. And then here I try to go over it with the cauldron to bring out some of the line art again, and I'm using the fine tip here, which was pretty okay. Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. They're definitely not my favorite markers, if you could tell by now. I absolutely love the concept. I love the Cotton Candy Witch and I really want to do her again, but I was very disappointed in these markers, and I can see why other artists didn't attempt to use them, or they only used them a couple of times. But you can definitely tell that they're hard. And then here at the bottom, I'm trying to blend. Yeah, I'm trying to blend over the top of it to make it look better. But as you can tell, it didn't change the picture at all. Like they don't budge, they stay put. So that was kind of hard to work around too. It was definitely a learning experience here. And then I'm just adding in some more details with this watermelon moon. I added some little seeds so that you can tell it's a watermelon. And then I put the glow around it to try and represent that moon a little bit more. I think next time I'll draw it in more of a circle shape so it looks more like a moon. But here I'm just adding in the final details on her skin. Again, trying to save the picture, so desperately trying to save the picture. I love my Copics. See, those blend out. Those blend out so well. But those Nini Pies, man, those are stuck. They work just like pies. Like, they get stuck in your body and they get stuck on your butt. And these markers get stuck on the paper. It's perfectly named. Pies on your butt. Pfft, what am I even talking about? So, and then I tried to use my highlighters. I tried to use these before. I did a really bright pink to try and make that glowing pink pop more. But again, like, they're just stuck. Like, they're concrete markers almost. You put them down and almost nothing can come cover it or go over it. And you can see the brown kind of covered the gray a little bit, but I think that was because it was so streaky that there wasn't a whole lot of color laying down anyways. So, but as far as the hair goes, I couldn't get it color over it. I couldn't get color over the purple, and it was just really difficult. If you are wanting to try the markers, I would definitely go for it because maybe it would work for your style a little bit more. But whereas my style is a little bit softer and I blend a lot, that wasn't really something that I could do with these markers. It would probably work better for doodles, or if you use more fine lines and bold colors, I would definitely recommend these. And I'm sure they're great for note taking because they have the 2-tip. Thank you for joining me today and in reviewing these Nini Pie markers. If you like the video, just go ahead and hit that like button, big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I do have a Zen box subscription box that's coming out, so make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can see that when it's uploaded. And thanks again so much for watching. See ya.